Today we're going to demonstrate for you the one color monomer liquid and polymer powder nail enhancement over a natural nail or a tip. So first, we're going to clean the nail. We're going to remove any existing polish, if the client has any coming back in. And then we're going to push back the eponychium with our cuticle pusher and remove any dead skin. And if you see anything that's stubborn, you can always scrape it off gently, just lightly remove any cuticle tissue. And then we're going to use the 180 grit side of our 100-180 to remove shine. If we were using a tip, we would want to trim the natural nail down and shape it to the point of where our tip well would meet the stop point so it fits properly. But today we're actually going to do a natural nail. So if you want to refer back to 27-1 for your tip application, do that before you apply your product. But today we're going to do it on a natural nail. So you just use your 180 side to remove your shine. Once you get all your shine removed, you're going to remove your dust with your clean and dry disinfected manicure brush. And then you're going to apply your dehydrator. So today I'm using this one. So it's going to remove all the oils in the nail. Get the surface ready for application. So it's going to dry it out. And it'll just take a few seconds, and when it dries, it'll get back chalky again. Then we're going to apply our primer. This is going to help our product stick. So once we do that, we're going to prepare our liquid. I don't normally prepare my liquid first because you'll get dust in it, and then your surface will be dusty, and then you'll have all your chemicals with dust in it. So if you wait and do it after the fact. Today we're going to use clear, but you can use any color because this is our one color. So it can be a pink, a clear, a white, it doesn't matter. So we are going to do our monomer and our clear powder. So first you're going to dip your brush in all the way, and you're going to wipe away from you to remove some of the liquid. Scoop in the powder. So get you a bead, and you're going to place it at the free edge. You can wipe your brush off if you have excess liquid, and you want to pat out your bead from left to right. So this first bead, your goal is just trying to cover the free edge. You can also push back the back area to blend it up the nail, so that way your second bead that goes behind it won't be a big bump. So since this is on a mannequin hand, she's going to take a second to dry because body heat is going to be a big factor in your drying process because of the warmth in their finger. So since little Susie Q doesn't have any warmth, we're going to have to give her a second to let her dry. So you're going to place your first bead on the tip, and then you're going to pat it out from left to right the way you like it. And I'm holding her upright so she won't drip because she's still kind of wet. But on a client, on a human finger, this would dry a lot faster and you won't have this issue. So the second bead we're going to apply in the center of the nail. So once again, dip your brush in, wipe up the dipping dish away from you so your liquid is towards you. So you'll wipe away from you to keep your liquid towards you. And then when you drag in your powder, your liquid will be on the side that you're dragging. Apply your second bead, wipe your brush off, pat left, press out right, and when the product is all the way pressed out, then you take the bottom of the product and smooth it down into that first bead. And that bottom bead is still kind of damp. So, all right, so we'll give that a moment to dry. Okay, so now we're going to apply our next bead. Those two have dried, and we're going to dip in our dish, wipe away from us, and we're always going to pull towards us. That way you keep the product on the front of the brush. You don't want any product on the back of the brush. That's where you contaminate your brush, get your liquid cloudy, and all that nonsense. So always keep the brush, the product on the front, and it'll be a clean transfer to the nail. So now we're going to pat it out once again, left to right. And then when we get it the way we want it, we're just going to slide down the front. Swipe down the front. Okay. So at this point, you can look at the side and see if you have any low spots or any bumps or anything. And I have more of a bump here because my product flowed off the free edge due to it being too wet. But I'm going to apply more product right here in the center to build that up.
Before you leave, would you help me with Facebook and then leave?
So we're going to apply our neck speed down here where it's thin, because when I was holding her tip down, it was kind of running. So we're going to apply another one right down here. So you just want to make sure that your structure is, you have enough product on your nail that when you shape it, you will not be shaping, I want to say around the product. I put enough product on so I can shape through it. I remove what I need to get the shape I want to. I don't want to use what's there to create my shape, in a way. You want to build it up to the shape you want, but you don't want to try to find the shape in what's there. You want to actually build it up to the way you want it to look. I hope that makes sense. So now I got that spot filled in. I'm going to do it one more at my apex. So your apex is going to be the area between the nail bed and the free edge. There's a tiny margin of nail that gets stress point when you apply pressure to your tip. So this is going to be the area that we want to build up with our product that is going to give us the most durability for the longevity of our nails. So your goal is supposed to be thin at the back edge. Your height is here. Then I'm going to taper it down to the free edge. This wouldn't be as bumpy if it wasn't for her droopy, but that's okay. All right, so we're going to let that dry, and then we're going to get her shaped up. All right, so now our nail has completely dried. You can always tap on it with your nail file to make sure that it's dry. And then you're going to first start shaping your perimeter. So you're going to come straight down on the sides. Always make sure to keep the client's skin intact. Never cut them up. So keep your thumb there to protect them. And do both sides. And you can use this middle finger on this side to hold it on this side to keep it off their skin. Then you shape your free edge. And remember, this is product, so we can go back and forth. We cannot go back and forth on a natural nail. We have to only file out, in, out, in. So here we can. So once you get your perimeter the way you want it, then you start at your free edge and reduce the thickness, because we want our tips thin so our client don't have any issues picking up credit cards, picking up change off the floor, or whatever the case may be. So just make sure it's thin so you get your left side done, and then you come down on your right. I'm holding her back here to support her little tip. I always like to do my tip first, because if I do my tip, then I know back to where my apex sits, then I can contour the rest of it to match. So long strokes. Use all your file. This will keep heat from being generated, and it'll also get the job done faster because you're using more of the abrasive board. So now come around to this other side. So coming up by the cuticle area, you want to come across, around, and down. up, across, around the cuticle area, and down. Always make sure too to score your nail files when you start a new client to make sure that you don't scratch them or cut them in this very instance. So this is where you would cut them. So always contour around. So follow through, look down the barrel to make sure your contour this way is the way you want it. Look from the side to make sure you have that thin, your little apex, and tapers down to your free edge. My free edge got too thick with her being drippy, but that's okay. We can always thin it. Almost there. Okay, so we have a nice little contour. Okay, so when you get it shaped the way you like it, then you can go over it with your buffer to make sure there's no scratches. Oh, see, I was holding her in there. She popped out. That's okay. And also, when you buff the same way you file. Up one side, across the top, down the side, down the front. This will just keep your nail smooth. Keep it in the same direction from all angles. Okay. Alright, so when you're done buffing, clean it off with your manicure brush. She won't stay in here now. Alright, so clean it off with your manicure brush. And at this point, you could either apply your traditional polish, or if you were going into gel polish, then you wouldn't have buffed it super smooth. But we'll get into another demonstration. So just for traditional polish, buff it as smooth as you can, and then you'll apply your polish in your top coat.